Hi everyone, welcome to Discover the Mace. This is part of Discover the series where I introduce you to different training tools and apparatus to help not only get you stronger, but use the training tool to build rhythm, timing, strength in not just a linear pattern, but in rotation and coiling, and then help you change direction. So you'll not just get stronger in a static position, you get stronger in an athletic position. I enjoy the mace because the mace is a weighted object, but it's weighted at one end, so you're learning to yield and move an object that is sometimes further away from the body. So you're learning to control an unconventional object, which then has to be moved and navigated around the body. So like whether you're using the kettlebell or you're using a mace or a dumbbell, these tools are hopefully all things not just to build muscle and strength, but to integrate a teaching. Like, the question that I use is, why are you doing that exercise? And for something like a mace, the mace is to give me a different type of feedback to be able to then still be able to yield my strength from a different area. Okay, here's the mace. I want you to just initially pick the mace up using your hands. Same thing, make sure the weight's light enough that this isn't challenging. Once you get used to picking the mace up, I like to drop down, take it onto the shoulder, down, take it onto the shoulder, do a few of these, and then a lot of the mace work is behind the body. So what's also then quite good is to get comfortable taking the arms behind the head, the hands behind the heads, seeing if you've got some ability to swing from side to side. You can then, if it's uncomfortable initially to take the weight up, you can either take it around the side, take it around the side. And remember that at no point should this feel uncomfortable or be sore. If that's the case, make sure the weight's light. Otherwise, make sure you're doing something else to allow you to get into using this. That's our mace. Mace is a new tool that I've used probably the last 5 years, at least more frequently the last 5 years. A few years back, I learned how to use the American style, which is very strict, over the heads, behind, coming through. I can't even remember some of these American style strict positions, but I'm going to show you the traditional way of using this. This is the way I've learned in the last few years, and the way I find it has a lot more transfer and crossover to all the other Discover and Control series that I teach, all the other tools and weapons and training apparatus that I use. This helps with rotational control, helps with rhythm and timing. What I really like about the mace is trying to use the mace. If I'm forcing my upper body to do the work, I get tired very quickly. Whereas if I'm able to actually integrate leg movement and drive from the hip, and actually the foot, the toes direct the drive of the hip, then I become more efficient, it becomes easier. The weight becomes pretty much lighter. And that's all still down to a refined technique. So on my on my Discover right now, I'm gonna get you to do a couple of the basic mace swings and hopefully get you to feel really comfortable with integrating the hip position. We've already gotten used to picking up the mace. We're gonna place this on our shoulder in a moment. But before we do, let me just show you the setup I like to start with. You'll have the feet together. You will open the toes as far as you can. You'll then open the heels as far as you can. That's 1, 2. I'll do the same thing for 3. And 4, I parallel the feet or align them up. This is a good indicator. You might be a little bit closer, you might be a little bit wider, but this is a good indicator for the width of your feet that you're going to be using for this position. I also use this in Kung Fu and in Capoeira for my base. So this is quite a nice setup for a lot of positions that we'll work with. But I'm going to bend down, grab hold of the mace from the head or from the top, place that onto the shoulder. And what you'll see straight away is the mace head will be on my shoulder, my arms will be in this extended position. One part of my body, the mace will have a bigger window, and the other side will have a smaller window, depending on where the mace is resting in relationship to the head. And what we want to think about is going through the easiest option. And yes, we can go through the easiest option with the arm in front, but what we're thinking about is going from behind, okay? This will make more sense in like a wrestling or a grappling position. You'll think about lifting the arm, going underneath and driving through. And it's the same setup with the arm and the position here.
Oh, really?
So I'll come back to our setup. We'll grab hold of the mace. We'll take it onto the shoulder. We have the window that we're looking for at the back, not at the front. I'm gonna push the mace off the shoulder and try to catch it behind the heads. This is our kind of first transition to the other side. From this position, I'm looking to bump and pull the kettlebell, pull the mace up onto my shoulder and catch it on the other side. So I will go from behind, turn, and catch. I have a smaller window here, the mace is on the outside. I will bring the mace behind my head, turn to the other side, the mace on the outside, and over. So this is our base fundamental position. Down, over, down, over. And then once you get comfortable with this, you're looking to move the mace without making contact until you've caught the mace on the shoulder. Rather than dragging it, moving the head out the way and then dragging it. Think about keeping the head centered. Think about pushing and catching, and then turning and bumping the hip to pull and catch. Show you again. From here, the open window is at the back. I go through the window, I turn around, and I come through the other side. I go through the window, I turn around, I go through the other side. That's the first setup with how to use the mace. There's a little bit more on this technique I'm going to show you now. Once you've done those parts, there's a wind-up phase into the initiation of the turn. I'll show you that here. So this is our position set up. We've already done the catch behind the head. The hands go behind the head. The mace should feel like it can be freely swinging behind you. And depending on which side you're going to catch, when you've caught the mace, rather than catching the mace all the way at the end, the first stage of the catch isn't quite complete. And then you turn and extend the arms and wind up. To me right now, I'm thinking baseball bat, and baseball wind up to swing. So from here, I'm winding up, I'm turning, I'm going through the window, turning my body, catching, turning my body, winding up like a baseball bat swing this way. As I turn, I catch on the other side, swing, From here, I swing around, I throw the mace behind me, I catch it behind my head, I turn, I bump the hip, catch on the shoulder, wind up, pull the mace, drop behind, catch, turn. Notice that it's this weight transference in the hip that's actually driving the movement of the upper body. I am not doing all of this in my triceps and upper back. Otherwise, I'm gonna get sore and tired very quickly if I try to only use my upper body. As I'm coming around, I'm catching with my legs and then bumping with my hip, turning with the other leg. I will push, catch, push, push, catch, push. Watch my legs. And then once you've got the base technique down, you can then start to add in some movement, pattern, work into how to move with the tool, with the weapon. Love the mace. Discover the mace. That's our basic. What I like to do is a set of 20 reps. Depending on the weights you've got, these are quite hard to get hold of. What is this, 15 pounds? So not too heavy, but definitely heavy enough to get going with. Get yourself a few if you can. You can improvise. I've seen loads of people making these with cement and different variations, but there are some quite good ones out now that even have adjustable weights. So you can grab the bar, you can put on whatever light weight to start with. And I like to do a set of 20 and build up to my max. Currently I'm on, what am I on, 32 kilograms for 20 reps. I'll start around 16. I'll warm up a couple of sets with 16 and then go 16s, 20s, 24s, 28s, 32s. I can go heavier, but that's really where my technique and form breaks down. And I'm using this, I'm not training for a competition yet, but I'm using this to cross-train everything else. Everything for me is rotation training. Everything for me is trying to take an object or take a tool and give me ability to get stronger and apply those teaching principles elsewhere. So as soon as my form breaks down, that tells me that I either want to rest, I've either done too much, or the weight might be too heavy, and select the correct weight. Great, that was Discover the Mace. Thank you so much for joining me. There's a lot to learn with the mace, I know, but hopefully by the end of today, or by the end of this video, you're more comfortable in how to pick that mace up. You have a better understanding, at least how to rotate with your hips and using your legs and your body, and you feel safe. It is a fun tool. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it and to learn, but once you've taken that time, once you've felt the benefits from training there, then hopefully you're motivated to learn more. I do have a more comprehensive teaching, which is Control the Mace. That's coming soon. So I have Control the Mace, and I have Control the Meals and additional tools. I have Discover the Landmine. I have Learn the Control the Landmine. I have the same with ropes and bands and barbells and dumbbells. So depending on what you want to learn, depending on what you want to train, please look for me on Instagram, look for me on School, look for me on YouTube, and you'll be able to get some access to some of the videos, whether that's free short format or some long format on my School account.